Hey everyone, last Halloween episode of Mighty Morphin, Zedd's Monster Mash. This was one of my absolute favorite episodes when I was a kid. It's definitely got the most Halloween imagery. The Juice Bar is hosting a chaperoned trick-or-treating event, and the Rangers are volunteers. Lord Zedd, meanwhile, has a plan to trap Tommy in another dimension and bombard him with monsters. Goldar references Life's a Masquerade by offering his idea to use a monster to infiltrate the Juice Bar's party. At least I think it's a reference. It could just be idle chatter, I guess. At the Juice Bar, Bulk eats a mouthful of red-hot candy and dunks his head in an apple-bobbing barrel to cool off. Back up on the moon, Lord Zedd tells a group of putties to disguise themselves as children to lure Tommy away. I've always loved the disguises the putties have. They're child-sized Power Rangers, but their helmets have little bones on them. Bulk and Skull notice how many kids have Power Rangers costumes and theorize some of them might be actual Rangers shrunk. Skull is attempting to carve a pumpkin with a plastic knife while Bulk is telling him this, and the end keeps snapping off. This is a bit I don't think later seasons could do, as the flying knife end could pose a safety hazard. At the very least, Bulk and Skull would probably have eye protection if this was done in a later season. Bulk and Skull go out and pull the masks off kids to see if they're Rangers and get aggressively shooed away. One kid has a merman mask. I just always thought that was cool. It's not the only time a Masters of the Universe thing would show up in Power Rangers. A toy can be spotted in an episode with a scavenger hunt. Bulk and Skull sit on the curb and try calling for help, thinking if the real Rangers are around, they'll come see what's wrong. They both just kind of whine in monotone.
Help! We're scared!
Goldar teleports to Earth and the putties reveal themselves. Tommy puts up a fight but gets sent to Zedd's other dimension. There's a surreal scene with a key monster who puts a key through a door to lock Tommy in the dark dimension. Not the same dark dimension from Green with Evil, at least I don't think it is. I don't know, maybe it's just a different area of the dark dimension. Tommy finds himself in an odd void of tombstones, surrounded by dark trees that fade into blackness. He tries to morph, but a giant tombstone-headed monster swipes away his morpher. Robo-Goat and Pumpkin Wrapper hold him back. Back at the Juice Bar, Billy and Kimberly discover the kids that went with Tommy weren't signed in or out. They try to contact Tommy, but get no answer. They go to the command center, and Zordon tells them what's going on. Wait, Zordon knew what's going on and didn't do anything? Maybe he figures there's no point in contacting the others until he knows where Tommy is and how to get him out. In the dark dimension, Tommy does his best to battle the monsters. Billy manages to figure out how to teleport into the dark dimension to help him. Jason, Zach, and Trini can't join because they're still out with kids from the Juice Bar and can't leave them. Yeah, this episode was from that weird time when Austin St. John, Walter Jones, and Thuy Trang left the show due to a pay dispute, and the show was scrambling to work around their absence. This episode is one of the better instances from this time. Them not being here doesn't feel too noticeable. Kim and Billy fight the monsters, and I've always loved this one bizarre stunt where Kim flips through the air while Robo-Goat just stands there and waits to be hit. I wonder why this scene wasn't sped up or cut down. Billy gets back Tommy's morpher and Tommy morphs. Doomstone, the tombstone monster, summons more monsters. Primitor, Rhino Blaster, with quite a different voice.
Rangers! Let me out! You power brats are no match for my team!
Invencible Flytrap, who also has a very different voice. A voice that reminded me of Bush Lad from Tasmania.
Welcome to Venus Island, Power Rangers! You worked at the best of me this time!
Francis X. Bushlight, Prince of the Mudmen.
And Snizzard. Zordon sends Alpha to watch Jason, Zach, and Trini's kids so they can join the team. Unfortunately, we don't see anything of Alpha actually doing that. Lord Zedd makes the pumpkin wrapper grow, so the Rangers call the Zords. I think this also breaks them out of the dark dimension, but they never explain exactly how they escape. I also don't know what happened to all the other monsters. They defeat Pumpkin Wrapper, and Lord Zedd gives up. I give up. At the Juice Bar, Bulk and Skull are sick from eating too much candy. I freaking love this one. I've always loved episodes with multiple revived monsters. The dark dimension of this episode is a cool concept, and I like the idea that the monsters might consider this a home of sorts. Maybe the others, besides Pumpkin Wrapper, are still there. I'm not sure what's up with the gatekeeper of the dark dimension. He only ever shows up to put a key through a door that somehow comes out a tombstone. It's so weird and nonsensical, though, that I like it. Of the 3 Mighty Morphin Halloween episodes, this one is definitely my favorite. It's a surreal ride, filled with the feeling of Halloween. This episode was possibly going to be a two-parter at one point, with much more going on. Behind-the-scenes photos reveal variants of the Z-putties. They look like normal putties, but with skeleton graphic outfits. Maybe these were supposed to call back to Bones' henchmen from way back in High Five. I'm guessing the departure of some cast members led to this episode being trimmed down. Doomstone has had some alterations since his Die Ranger appearances. His boots are replaced with orange ones, possibly spares from Pumpkin Wrapper. The other change is the cross on top of his tombstone head. It's been changed to just a line. I'm not sure why this was changed. Maybe the original suit was damaged and this was a quick fix? There are several crosses in the background of this episode, so sensitivity couldn't have been an issue. Why would a cross on a tombstone be offensive anyway? Michael Sorich returns as the voice of Pumpkin Wrapper. Dave Mallow takes over the voice of Rhino Blaster here. Dave Mallow is best known for voicing Babu and providing the Tedeon narration for Mighty Morphin. Richard Epcar takes over the voice of Primator. He's done many other monster voices for Power Rangers, from Mighty Morphin up to Wild Force. He returned to Power Rangers for the Megaforce video game, where he provided voice work for Robo Knight and UFO.
My turn.
So you made it this far, eh, Megaforce?
Steve Kramer takes over the voice of Snizzard. He's done many monster voices for Power Rangers, most notably Darkonda in Space. He also voiced Cyclopter and Masked Rider. Andrea Harmon takes over the voice for Invincible Flytrap. She voiced Esponda in VR Troopers and Hydrasect and Arachnida in Masked Rider. The mysterious Key monster was voiced by Mike Reynolds. He voiced many other monsters, most notably Captain Mutiny. He also voiced General Ivar in VR Troopers. So this is the last for Mighty Morphin Halloween episodes, and we can now move on to other seasons. There is a VHS special, Lord Zedd's Monster Heads, but it's just stock footage from the wedding and various others, with some new voiceover by Robert Axelrod, the voice of Lord Zedd. There's not really enough original content to be worth looking into. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.
I thought we turned you into squash brain.